morning my wife Lisa and I were out walking, and we were talking about how society at large these days is very much driven by self. It's very much about me and what I've achieved and my rights and self-preservation. And I just started to wonder, as Christians, how much of that thinking have we adopted, even into our Christianity? Do we think that somehow I had a part to play in my salvation or my right standing with God or God's favor in my life? So, maybe I did something to earn a little bit of that. I go to church every Sunday, or, I was raised a Christian, or I read my Bible a lot, or whatever it is that we think that we had something to do with it. The reality is it has nothing to do with what we've done and everything to do with what Christ has done for us. In Philippians, Paul kind of hits the nail on the head and says, we are those who boast in what Jesus Christ has done and not in what we can accomplish in our own strength. And so Paul is very clear. Here's Paul, who came from this incredible religious background. He was a Pharisee of the highest order, and yet he understood that it meant nothing in the scheme of salvation and righteousness, that it was everything to do with what Christ had done with him, because he'd had a revelation of Jesus that changed everything. He surrendered his life, and in doing so surrendered his past and his background and his pedigree and his reputation, and said it has nothing to do with that and everything to do with the saving grace of Jesus Christ and the love of God. He goes on to say in the same chapter, he says, to truly know Jesus meant letting go of everything from my past and throwing all my boasting on the garbage heap. He says, it's all like a pile of manure to me now, so that I may be enriched in the reality of knowing Jesus Christ and embrace him as Lord in all his greatness. So Paul says all my past, all my pedigree, my reputation and my religious upbringing and my Bible knowledge, all of that stuff, it's rubbish. In fact, it's a big pile of poop. That's what he says. It's a pile of poop. It means nothing. It means nothing. And he understood that it was because of Jesus. It was because of what Jesus had done. I just think it's so important that we grasp that as Christians, that that yes, we partner with God, and yes, we respond to him in faith, but gosh, it's only because of what Jesus has done for us that we can even embrace that faith. It's only because of what God has done in his great love toward us that we can even love him in return. The Bible says that we did not love him first, he loved us first. And it's so clear. So I just want to encourage you today to stay really sharp in that. If God's moving through your life, and maybe you're in ministry, maybe you're seeing people healed, which is amazing, and all of that, to not for a minute think it's about you. As Paul says, don't be conformed to the thinking of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Embrace that new mind thinking that it is all about Jesus. It's always all about Jesus and what he has done, the great price that he paid, and the path that he paved for us to follow. And because of that, we can now live an incredible Christian life, but it's all because of him.